Thanks for attending the How to Master B2B Product Marketing in 2025 and beyond. I am Miriam Melo, and I work at organizations like Salesforce, Cisco, and Plex systems. I hope that you learned some actionable insights that you can take back to your organization and apply it to your everyday life. I want to share some additional thoughts on what I believe it takes to be an impactful product marketer and how do you become a strategic source to your organization. One of my favorite things about product marketing is that you get to be front and center and sort of the hub that brings product sales, customer success, and strategy together. So I would actually reframe that question if that's okay. High performing teams, I think it's something that everybody strives to be, right? And as product marketers, we all know that volume is definitely something that is needed and organizations demand. But I would argue to say that you can be a high performing team and pump out a lot of great things. But if it's not actually having impact and moving the needle, it really doesn't matter. And as product marketers, we tend to sort of fall into the trap of doing all the things. And that comes at the cost sometimes of being known for nothing. Why? Because we're not having impact. We're not really impacting the strategy of the company. We're not impacting revenue directly. And sometimes we're not even impacting the sales team. So I would like to reframe that a little bit and focus on what product marketing teams need as competencies and skills and sort of tactics to be more impactful to the business and their customers. And I would start off by saying that you need to really get to know your customers. And the reason why is because they're ultimately the experts. They're the experts on your product, and they represent the people that you actually want to attract, that you want to engage with. And talking to them can provide so much valuable information that you can then pull through across all of the different things that you're working through. For example, your customers can help you understand how to better define and position your product. I like to ask these questions. How would you define this solution in 3 sentences? What are the outcomes, the top 3 outcomes that you've experienced? You want to know about your competition? You can hear it from your customers, right? Asking them if you had the opportunity to switch to a tool that is different than ours right now, which one would that be and why? What that provides to you is insights on can be your top competitors, what are your strengths, and what are your weaknesses. And those insights actually can help bring it back to the product team when it comes to their roadmap strategy and how quickly they're delivering certain things. Some other questions you can ask is, what drew you to our products and our solution? Why us? What was it that actually helped you make that decision? What attracted you to pay attention to begin with? So you can hear things like, it was something on your website, a customer story. It was an email that you sent me with a really cool video or infographic. It was your sales team and how they engaged with me and how thoughtful they were. All of these insights can really help shape not just the marketing function of it and what things should be created and what things you need to double down on, but it can also help you bring that back to product and sales and even your customer success teams at times. The other thing that I would say is important for product marketing teams this day and age is to become entrenched with your product owners. And what I mean by is to spend time with them. And I know you're probably thinking, we have so much to do. We can't, we already have all these meetings. Yes, but in order for you to really understand the product, understand the strategy, and really have a glimpse, an idea of what's coming, you have to spend that time. What I like to do is instill weekly check-in meetings with my product owners. Hear from them. What features are you guys working on? What are you planning on delivering? What's stopping you? What are some of the roadblocks there? And work and collaborate with your product owners to create a release or launch plan and timeline and understand what do we need to remove as roadblocks? What do we need to create? How can we work together to create some of these key pieces? And they're also going to give you so much knowledge because in turn, Product marketers have to be the product experts, and the only way for you to be able to do that, plus help shape how the product gets delivered and have close alignment across the organization, is by spending the time and becoming fully immersed with your product teams. Number three, we can't forget about partners. Partners are just as important as your customers. And oftentimes what I've seen, and I've worked for a myriad of companies, from large SaaS companies to small early stage startups, and I see this as being pervasive in a lot of times. We understand that partners could be a huge source of revenue, but oftentimes product marketers shy away from it because you got other stuff going on, right? You have to support your sales teams. You have to make sure you're creating content. You have to make sure that you're giving demand gen what they need, when they need it. The partners are actually not just a great source of knowledge, just like your customers are, but you can actually impact them and enable them just as easily as you're doing for your sales teams. One of the tricks that I've learned along the lines is not to have to reinvent the wheel. You can actually take what you're creating for your sales teams and make some small modifications to it and bring that into your partners. Help them be able to speak about your solutions and speak about your brand and the things that you're uniquely known for, by just providing them with the same things that you would give your sales teams and making some small tweaks. So partners, don't forget about them. They're crucial to the success of the business, and you can still collaborate with them and support them. I would say that if you bring all this stuff together, what ends up happening is you're going to get insights and knowledge and data that can help you have more impact and be more purposeful in how you work. It will help you create a strategy, because you do need that as a product marketing team, and a plan that's going to fill the needs of the organization and helping you scale, but also limit some of the things that are not as impactful that maybe either you need to stop doing or you deprioritize. By bringing these sources of feedback and insights from your customers, your partners, your product teams, you're able to bring forth to the leadership team a cohesive strategy and plan that's actually going to have impact. You're going to be able to actually look like you're being a bit more effective, because you are showing the organization and leadership, like, product marketing is here for more than just note taking. We're here as a crucial part of the company strategy and execution for us to go to market and win. And I would say the other thing is spend time with sales. Observe them. See what they're doing in the wild, right? If that means you get on a few calls and you're a fly on a wall, you just sort of see how they're pitching the product, what they're struggling with, what kinds of questions and objections are coming. I find that for me personally, it's so insightful, and it helps me really think through what I need to do better for them. What are the areas that I need to partner with them closely? And the same way that you're going to be a partner to product, is the same way that you need to be a partner with sales as well. And last but not least, don't be afraid of AI. As product marketers, we have to be at a point where we can solve for a myriad of things. And some of those things may not be in your wheelhouse. It may not be something that you're a complete expert in, but AI is so powerful on helping you come up to speed on things like market trends, coming up to speed on what's going on with your competitors, coming up to speed on topics that are having a lot of buzz out there that you can have a unique perspective. If you're stuck on an idea for a blog series, you can turn to AI to do that. I used to think that it was sort of cheating to use AI, and it took one of my leaders to say, no, you're not cheating. You should be using it. It's going to actually help you scale and do more. And so, yeah, those are the tips that I have. I've used it myself. I've seen others use it. And I think that just being close to your stakeholders, being close to your customers and your partners, and not shying away from tools that can help you do more, like even Asset Mule, for example. It's so powerful to be able to tap into that. Not only are you going to have more impact, but you're going to be able to be high performing as well. How do we convince customer-facing teams like sales and customer success to give us time, right? Give product marketing some time and allow us to be a fly on a wall and come along for the ride. It's easy. In order for us to be able to support them and give them what they need so they can be successful, we need to be able to walk in their shoes. The only way we're going to be able to walk in their shoes is to experience what they're going through, right? And I think that there's some rules of engagement that you can put in place. Like, I'm just going to be observing. If it's a call on Zoom, I don't need to be on camera, right? I'm just going to be taking down notes. I just want to listen in. Some of the things that I've tried is also spending time with the sales leaders themselves. So the folks who are overseeing sales or customer success teams, because you have to be sensitive about the fact they need to spend time in these deals or in these customer conversations. But being able to have that conversation with sales leaders first, because if you can convince them that you're coming in as an ally, and that you want to absorb as much as possible. You want to really understand what the teams are coming up against, what's working, what's not working, what they're hearing. Oftentimes, they'll be able to empower their team to allow you to come in, right? You're not going to sit there and disrupt a conversation. You really just want to learn, because if you learn, you're going to be able to give them what they need. And I would also say that sometimes sales doesn't know what they need, right? And sometimes you may have an idea as a product marketing and sales enablement expert, but what worked for another company or for another team that was, focused on a particular vertical, it's not going to always work for others, right? And so there's uniquenesses there, and you can come to the table with your ideas and present them, but nothing is going to be more valuable than you actually being able to observe what's happening in real life. So I've seen product marketing teams structured in different ways. And what I mean by structure is both how they report across the organization and also skill set and competencies, right? So let's start with, who do you report up to? I've personally been in companies where product marketing myself reported to the head of product. That I've seen that actually be pretty normal when it comes to a small company and a small startup who doesn't have sort of more formalized teams and hierarchies. There's pros and cons with everything, right? So if you report just a product, then by default, you're going to end up being product's main source of support, which is fine, which is perfectly fine. But oftentimes what tends to happen is some of the other bigger pieces that really make product marketing more impactful kind of go to the wayside. So one, being in touch with sales, really understanding what they need, helping them, enabling them. So what they're saying and how they're saying matches what your website says, matches what your email campaign says. It doesn't feel disconnected and disjointed. And also allows you to have impact in how they understand the competition and how they speak to some of those objections, right? And so I've also been in situations which tend to be the norm in middle and size and bigger companies where product marketing reports to the head of marketing, right? That makes a lot of sense because it also allows you to be fully entrenched with your marketing counterparts and become sort of BFFs with the band gen, for example, or your content team. I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer because every organization is different and there's going to be points of contention with different structure in terms of how you report into whatever group. But I would say that what matters most is back to what I was saying earlier in terms of you being entrenched and being present and active and collaborative with your stakeholder teams, right? In a perfect world, a product marketer will report into marketing, but have a dotted line into the head of product. You're not going to have a perfect world. So it's on us as product marketers to create that synergy and create sort of that collaborative and really close-knit relationship with your product team if you're reporting into marketing, and vice versa, right? You need that. So I think it's less about who you're reporting into and more about how you entrench yourself into the teams that you're working closely with and how you collaborate and how you communicate. The other flip side of that is structuring the team in terms of skill set and competencies, right? And so for a lonesome product marketer who's the only person, you're going to wear a gazillion hats. You're going to wear a content creating hat. You're going to wear a sales enablement hat, a competitive analysis hat. You're going to sometimes even be in charge of creating pricing and packaging. And as we all know, we're not experts in everything, right? And so I think there's going to be a little bit of some conflict. And this is where turning to either peers that you know that you can trust, right? Think of your mentors and folks that you've worked with in the past to get their feedback, to get either ideas, turning to, things like, AI tools like ChatGPT. If you're not really sure how to start with competitive research, or if it's sort of like, I don't have the time, you can still be able to have impact in that area by leveraging these tools and also leveraging your counterparts. I found that product marketing community is so supportive, and I'm constantly learning from them. And so I think don't be afraid to admit that you're not an expert in certain things. And don't be afraid to use resources to help you actually do those things. I think those are really important, right? And if you're thinking about a team that's more evolved, that has multiple product marketers, I think it's important to focus product marketers based on the product, right? So they can become the product experts, and also on the verticals that product is going to solve for. It's key to become an expert in that, because that is the only way you're going to be able to do your job and do it well. And I think if you're luxurious, I think it's breaking things down into what folks are really great at, right? You're going to have some folks who are going to be great at, creating these high-end, impactful, sales decks, for example. You're going to have folks that are going to be great at doing competitive research really quickly. You're going to be having folks who are going to be really great at pricing and packaging because they've done it a bunch of times. So I think for product marketing leaders is really understanding the skill sets of your teams, making sure that they're set up for success based on what they're expert in, and then creating a space for the team to come together and draw those insights from each other so that they can all have impact cohesively. So if you are a single product marketer, I want to be able to help you avoid certain mistakes that I've made in my career as well. I think one of the things that we do as a single product marketer is we try to solve for everything and everybody. While that's admirable, I think it kind of sets you up for not to be able to have as much impact and success. What I've learned is really important is back to what we were talking about in terms of what are the core competencies and tactics that every product marketer should have. Even though you're a single product marketer, and yes, you're going to be pulled in a gazillion different directions, it's still important for you to think through what kind of strategy you should have in place and a plan. Common mistake from single product marketers, they come into an organization and they assume that the leadership team and that even your own manager understands product marketing. And as we all know, product marketing is one of the most misunderstood functions in the company. And it's on us to really help educate the organization into what we can do so that, once again, we don't become the master of everything and the owner of none. And so same philosophy applies, right? Spend time with your customers, understand who they are, listen from them, spend time with your partners, spend time with your sales team, your product team, understand your competition, understand what's resonating in the market and what's not. It's important for you to do that because it would help you then create a strategy and a plan with the actual priorities that are going to help solve for what the company needs right now and what is needed to help them scale in the future. The other thing is you need to be able to be a collaborator across the board. Collaborate with everyone. And yes, I know time is of the essence. There's not enough time for everything, but you want to make sure that you entrench yourself in the company and gain trust, right? And gain confidence. That doesn't happen from day one. That happens from you putting in the time and spending that with your stakeholders, with your counterparts, with the folks that you're supporting and enabling. It's key to get to know everybody. In a small company environment where you're the only one, the last thing you want is to be on an island and to have folks wondering, what is product marketing doing, right? And so get close to your stakeholders, get close to the teams that you're collaborating with, do your homework and your research across your customers, your partners, competition, market trends, what's resonating and what's not, and bring all of that together to help shape, right? Help shape the marketing strategy and also create and foster a sense of trust and respect, and ultimately, someone that is an expert in the company and is, the secret weapon to the company's success and go-to-market strategy.